Right. Okay. So, welcome everybody. This is a promotional video aimed at sort of giving information to any students considering the Canterbury Academy as a sixth form option, but most specifically the rugby program, which is titled the East Kent Rugby Academy. And it's a partnership program that we run in association with the Langton Grammar School for Boys. And who I have with me today are Nicky Little, the head coach of the program, and Sam Sterling, who's the assistant coach and also responsible for strength and conditioning. And today's video just gives us an opportunity really just to sort of talk through some of the key concepts of the programme, almost what students can expect from the programme as well. So if you are considering this as an option, I think it's going to be a valuable 15 to 20 minutes for you. So guys, firstly, thanks ever so much for giving up your time today to do this for you, for us even. Nicky, do you just want to sort of kick us off, just give us a little bit about your background for those people in the rugby world that don't know you, and I'm pretty sure there won't be many of those, but just give us a little bit of background and I suppose just talk about your experience and your role here.
Okay, so I was an ex-professional, probably had it for about 15, 16 years. I played for my country, Fiji, a few times. I went to a couple of World Cups, and basically ever since playing rugby, I just always wanted to help. And when I was at school, the rugby coaches used to help me, tell me off and give me positive news. Good balance. So I just wanted to be that guy. Fantastic. And so far, for the last 9 years, I'm that guy.
Okay. I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of humility and modesty there with you talking about a couple of World Cups as opposed to before and the try scoring records. But listen, I won't sort of do that for you. But obviously, we're delighted that you are involved with this program with your international experience and certainly your sort of philosophy towards coaching young players. We're also equally delighted to have Sam on board because of his expertise in not only the game but also in strength and conditioning. And Sam, do you just want to sort of give us a little bit of a brief background to yourself?
Yeah, so with regards to playing, I've obviously nothing like what Nicky's got, but through growing up in Ireland, playing with the academy systems with Leinster and Munster, and then various A-League, Munster and Wasps, and then eventually turning to the coaching side of things and S&C. That's pretty much it.
Fantastic. Again, someone who's extremely modest and then isn't talking about the many achievements he's got, but also the experience he's got. And, we're really lucky just to sort of on behalf of the school, we believe that the coaching staff we have involved are really, really high quality and that they've driven this program really well. So let's get into a little bit of the nitty gritty, guys. Nicky, just do you want to start us off a little bit and just, I don't know, give us a bit of a flavour of the program, what students can expect from it?
Okay. I want the students to be able to watch a professional game on TV and say, that's what we do. And that's what I've learnt. And that's the position I'm in. And I'm learning how to play like that guy. So Sam and I, we can cover all the positions. I want the boys to work on their rugby skills, obviously on the pitch. And then there's off the pitch. That's Sam running and pushing yourself up. And also there's a bit of resilience there and your personality, because we're all a team. We're all a lot of blokes trying to get on, and there'll be some difficulties along the way. And it's just a bit of ownership, really. Fantastic. We want to make it enjoyable first. And if I can make you learn things without you thinking it's a classroom and just having fun, then that's what I want to do.
Brilliant. And that's a nice little summary there. And Sam, do you just want to sort of chip in, I don't know, about the input that you have in regarding the strength and conditioning and how that works across the program?
Yeah, so with regards to the S&C, obviously we do a lot of group S&C, but my, I suppose, goal, my aim is that when someone comes into the program, that it's fair enough to expect me to be chasing them, to, want to give them this and give them that and the other, but hopefully that develops into, by the time they're leaving, that I'm getting annoyed by how much they're hassling me by coming to me for things that they can do as an extra, as opposed to me hassling them at the beginning. And I think that's sort of how things have progressed over the years.
And I think both, and I'll stay with you, Sam, here, because both of you referred to this to an extent. There are some challenging elements of this, aren't there? The fact that this is a daily training program. If we look at a school year, we're looking at 38 weeks daily training. There's a little bit of sort of a grind associated with it to an extent, but someone who's really passionate and really committed about getting better, it's ideal for them, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that with regards to tools to become the best possible player that you can become, all of the tools are there. You've got the ridiculous facilities, ridiculous coaching staff. So I do think that there is an element of it is what you make of it. But at the same time, I think there's that initial push as well. But you see the boys that come in, they work hard and the results speak for themselves. I think both within the gym, within developing a skill set and all that.
That's good. And Nikki, Sam sort of mentioned the really decent facilities and everything. Just from a rugby point of view, I suppose the advantage you have because of his partnership with Langton, the guys train regularly on the 4G, don't they, at Langton?
Yes, on a basic day, I'll turn up in a van. The boys will jump on. We'll have a giggle. We see what happened last night, what happened on the weekend. There's good bonding. We've got 10, 15-minute bus trip down to the Langton. It's bonding. It's great. Then we go to the Langton. We see those boys there. Bit of banter. I'll let it flow. Sam and I will let it flow for a good 5-10 minutes while you get changed and get in together. And then the whistle's blown. We come together and we get working. That's basically it. And once it's finished, Sam and I'll let the boys have another 5-10 minutes, just a bit of a decompress and a bit more banter. Back on a minibus, separate schools. It's what it is. It's what it is.
And that sort of team, that I suppose that social cohesion, that team together is really important. And you guys would experience that for your own playing careers and everything. And it's something that you make a big effort to do. And correct me if I'm wrong here, is the advantage of being on the 4G, is that allowing you to potentially train over a consistent period during the winter when otherwise you might well have missed stuff? And does it also allow you to do specific things that you wouldn't be able to do on grass? I mean, talk me through that.
Absolutely. As you can see right now, I'm walking the dog and every rugby pitch is soaked. That will limit what we do. And Sam and I know I'd like to have running rugby, a little bit of champagne, but sometimes on a muddy pitch and on bogs, it's you can't do that. So having our facility over at the Langton, it is the same on a hot summer day, and it is the same in the mud. There's no mud; it's the same in the winter, and we can just work on our skills. And running ASAM, they can run all the time. There's no mud.
I think it as well. It almost complements having the grass as well, because although you want to have the Langton to not destroy a pitch and not, put people off training on a muddy, disgusting day. But then at the same time, when it is muddy and disgusting and we do choose to go onto a different pitch, the boys eat it up. They love it. They get muddy, they get stuck in. It's not overkill in terms of how much they have to train on that sort of surface.
And it sort of makes them appreciate when we go to schools that doesn't have the facility, that makes them appreciate, you know what? We should be out there all the time.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's a good point. And I think very often it's not just the facilities, it's the people who actually, driving the programs. They're the most important, aren't they, and everything. And so coming back to that in a way, Sam, if I can just sort of ask you a little bit, I mean, strength and conditioning wise, obviously for the Langton students, they'll spend quite a bit of time in the gym facilities at Langton. But if the students decide to come to the Canterbury Academy, we've got obviously very good facilities. Lifestyle Fitness have an upstairs gym that is pretty well equipped. We've created our own gym downstairs, which is also well equipped. You will be a coach who gets out, uses a beach area, you'll use the fields, you use the track, etc. Can you just give people who are interested in coming on this program a little bit of a flavour for the type of work that you do with them when they first come on? I'm almost thinking about that September and October time.
Yeah, so S&C, a lot of people think it's about getting in and smashing weights. It's not really that. You have weights to make a movement harder. The movement already exists. The weight's just there to make it a little bit better, just develop a little bit more of a hypertrophy or strength or whatever. But the main emphasis is on the boys being able to train as much as possible. So being on the pitch and training with the ball, that's part of an S&C program. The warm-up you do for a pitch session, that is part of your S&C program. Going into the gym, you're not going into the gym to be able to squat 100 kilos. You're going into the gym to do a movement that's going to benefit you within a specific functional movement on the pitch. So for example, we're not going to squat to squat. We're going to squat because it might be something that develops a prop scrummaging potential. But yeah, and in terms of kind of, I suppose, practically, it looks like before a session, we try to get players leading that to give them some sort of accountability. So at the start, when they first come in, we give them the framework of how we want to do that. In the first couple of weeks, they learn the framework of the warm-ups, the plyometric drills, the injury prevention, the potentiation, and then that's kind of put onto them. Each week we pick a leader, and that leader has to take the whole squad through it. So everyone gets that kind of leader and follower role. And then within the gym, they'll all be given their programs based on what stage we're in the season, but also based on their positions and their developmental stage, obviously, because everyone's, developing all the time because they're in school. But then from that, we'll either go into the small gym downstairs where we have a lot more floor space. We can have that little space to ourselves. Or if we have, if upstairs is available, we'll go up there and the boys will smash out there, and we can kind of almost, as opposed to having a class type scenario, we can kind of roam around and let them just get on with it in their little pairs.
Brilliant. And that gives a really nice flavour, almost for something that runs across a lot of the different sport programs we offer, that you adopt this almost holistic approach here, guys, and the fact that it isn't just about the rugby, it's about other stuff. I mean, Nikki, I suppose a lot of students, when they're first coming to us, they are initially just coming out of GCSEs. It's a challenge. They've been in year 11 and all of a sudden they're in the sixth form. How do you support guys through those first few weeks and those first few months where maybe they're a little bit, not necessarily fish out of water, but it's a new place. It's possibly a challenge for them.
I think our coaching team's got it well. I'm pretty early into my coaching. I'm a bit of a young coach. It's less than 10 years, but getting on with people and being really open and a bit of humor, if we a bit of a banter with the kids, they know where the line is, they can tease me, they bring up clips of my career and they tease me about it and I don't mind. And I tease them a bit. If I can just break down that maybe that wall that, oh man, that's my coach, I've got to be rock hard and everything like that. No one got to be rock hard. It's not a tough guy thing. Everyone just needs to get along. And if I could, all us coaches, we just chat with them. And if they've got a problem, chat to you later, because you don't want to embarrass anyone in front of everyone. And maybe they come in and they can't do the drill. And I can see them in the corner there. They're pretending to tie their laces for the first 10 minutes. I've seen it a million times. I'll just go over there and say, look, we'll get to it. And I'll slow everything down. I want them to talk to us. I'm a bit overawed. I've got so much work to do, and and I can send them to you. I can send them to other teachers, trained teachers who know how to do this stuff. And I think communication and being friendly is the key to most in life, isn't it?
No, and I think, and the other thing, which obviously during the recent winter we've had, and with the national lockdowns and everything and the restrictions, we haven't had that competitive element, which has been a real challenge for not only the players, but I know the coaching staff as well, because a lot of the work you do during the week is geared up towards whether the guys are going off playing for their clubs on Saturday, or equally some of the sort of, school fixtures you had yourselves. I mean, Nikki, just talk us through, because there is something we tried to do over the last couple of years is almost have this higher level of top academy fixtures against some decent sides, some sides that would tour from overseas, some of the stronger schools. Would that be fair to say?
Yes. I think we're lucky because of the numbers we've got in our academy, in the two schools and the academy. We can put out like maybe 2 or 3 strengths of a team. So if we, let's say, with no disrespect, we go play just a normal East Kent school that's not really focused on rugby, we'll go put out a nice team that will match them. And to the other point, if we go in to play Whitgift as a friendly, because, we've got friends in these big schools, we used to play against and play with them. They're good mates too. If they give us an opportunity to play, one of the best schools in England, then I'm going to have to put out the best team. And I don't really mind what school they come from, whether it be Canterbury Academy or Simon Langton. So, yeah, that's it. We can do what we want. And the highlight of the year is we call it the State of Origin. It's the Canterbury Academy versus Simon Langton. That's our final game of the season. It's mate against mate, state against state. We've ripped it off from the Australians. And, yeah, the boys like that.
And I can see how much that means to you actually by how you've sort of, when you started talking about it, a smile on your face. And that is that's a game that everyone's missed this year, definitely. No, thanks. I mean, Sam,
Yeah.
Sam, coming back to you, and I talked about it right at the start, there's a challenging element to this. And very often, I suppose, young rugby players, young sports players, whatever sport they're involved with, don't necessarily always have the tools, the resilience, the mental strength to actually get through, quite a challenging program. How do you go about sort of supporting those players, Sam?
I think you've got to remember that at this level, not everyone's going to become a professional player, right? Very few are. So I think for us, it's about the values of rugby and how they're going to affect each individual student in their life when they finish, and how can we instill that through coaching, through S&C, through whatever, whether it's discipline, whether it's being respectful, whatever that is. That's what it's about, really. That's about, it is school. It's a part of school. And the ones who take on those values the most, who have a natural talent to apply themselves, tend to be good rugby players as well. That tends to be quite a kind of a codependent in being a good rugby player as well. But yeah, I suppose you have to say this is the way that it's done is fine. And it's great to have pillars and great to have structure, and it's important to have that. But structure is there to be deviated from. It's not there to stick to. So the structure is there to have, but you have to take every individual on their own merits as well, to a certain extent.
That's brilliant. I think, catering to the individual needs really, really important. And it means, in a way, that you guys can cater for, a variety of levels to an extent, which is brilliant. And what a great thing you said about that lifetime. Go on, Nicky. Yeah.
Rugby it's hard. It's outside. It is confrontational. There is some person trying to stop you getting to the line, and you got to stop them getting to the line. And it's outside. It's in the weather. All these negatives, but you can't just go inside all the time. And maybe, I'm not taking away basketball is difficult, but it's out of the elements. We are in the elements. It's freezing. I learned something when I came over here in 1999 about the elements. So it's up to us to. It's not to weed out. It's just to help people get through that, because it is even when you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds, those boys now, it is still difficult getting out in the mud and pretending that you enjoy it.
Well, listen, I mean, you guys have done a really good job sort of summarising things so well. And if I just give you both maybe a final one here, I just want you to sort of almost, what message, why should a 16-year-old rugby player, whether they're from East Kent or even further afield, because we do take students in from across the county and in fact across the region, why should they consider being involved with your program?
Well, I'd like to say that it sounds bad. Around here, no other coach has done what I've done. It sounds terrible. I just want to get that across to the guys and to make them better. It's them, and I don't think there's a trainer around like Sam. Do you take it away, Sam?
No, yeah, it's true. I don't. You could sit here, we could, spout this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. It's everyone, everyone could talk a big game, but at the end of the day, show up, put in the work. And if I'm being completely honest with you, if you showed up to the park down the road and you put in work and you grafted, then you probably do well. The only difference is that you're trying to give a framework that supports grafting hard. And I could talk about the benefits of the facilities and this, that, and the other, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You show up, work hard, and then within this structure, there's the support there to give the people who put in that work benefit from it.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Now, listen, everyone, we're just going to close there. If you want more information, there is information on the Canterbury Academy's website. There's a specific page for sixth form. There's a promotional video which just sort of shows the range of sports that we offer, and also some of the different specialist services involved as well. An additional point is that the guys get access to free physio whilst being on the rugby programme. Hopefully we're not involved with that too much because Sam's done such a great job. But I think, one of the key things is that, there's a combination of the real professional approach, but also understanding that players are there to actually enjoy the game. So I think hopefully that's come across from the guys today. I'm gonna press stop now, and if anyone's got any more information, by all means, please get in touch with us. Okay.